What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Latin Explaining with Denise. My name is Denise Gonzalez for those who do not know me. But for those who do, welcome, guys. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Latin Explaining. I want to say hi to everybody that's not only watching me live, but also the people watching this on the replay. Today, we're going to have, oh my God, a crazy show. This is a topic that I try my best to bring forward, but for some reason, I think it's not being spoken about the most. I've seen many channels, like for example, Dr. TSN Johnson speaks about stuff related to what we're going to talk about here today. There's other channels that I'm not going to go too deep into, but that also has spoken very briefly about this. But I want to get into the whole concept of what the hashtag meant to symbolizes for today's society. I see already that MK, Jose, and Rakim started the chat. Welcome, guys. Thank you for tuning in. It's such a pleasure to be back here. You guys know this was supposed to be touched on Sunday. I couldn't do that, but I am here as promised, and we're going to talk about this situation today because, like I said, this is a topic that needs to be spoken about. And before I start the show, I want to uh, encourage everybody that's watching to like, subscribe if you have not done so. If you want to contribute to the channel, then you can, and you enjoy this content, of course, you can also use my Cash App code and donate to support the platform. But if you cannot, it's completely okay. You can just hit the like button, and that also helps me because it doesn't cost you anything, but it helps me grow my channel. Now, guys, before we start today's topic, like I said, it's such a sensitive subject. So, of course, I'm going to encourage everybody that is watching this. If you're under the ages of 21 years old, this content is not for kids, it's not for underage people. So, unless you have your parent with you authorizing you to watch this, I will encourage you to turn off this episode. Of course, it's going to be graphic in some areas. And also, if you are too sensitive when it comes to topics of violence or abuse, or if you were a victim of those things and you get triggered easily by this topic, then I'm going to request you kindly that I love your support, but today you don't have to give me your support. So, and that includes both men and women. So, without any further ado, let's get this show started. As you guys know, today's topic is going to be men too, and basically it talks about the subtle focus on males abuse. We have heard for several years now the hashtag me too, which actually focuses on the experiences that many women unfortunately have experienced at the hands of predatory men. One thing that we have noticed is that this has been used as a movement to incarcerate people like Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, and the likes of those people when they have done certain things. Later on, it was discovered that, Cosby wasn't doing all of that, and many other things surfaced. And trust me, I was part of that group that believed that Bill Cosby was guilty of all those things. However, then uh, when all this stuff resurfaced, we were like, whoa, then this might not be the case. And then that triggered me to start looking at society in a different way. And something that we don't like to talk about, Bruno, we don't like to talk about when this is done to men. There is a misconception in today's society where we think that uh, males cannot be abused for some odd reason. That's like a misconception that men can take it, or I don't know if you guys growing up, or even not only growing up, but in society or in relationships, I've heard, you can take it, you're a man, be a man, toughen up, suck it up, you're a dude. And those things come shortly after something that has crossed some of your boundaries have happened. And it's more common than you might think. And even though in those circumstances probably wasn't something like too, let's say, quote unquote abusive, but in today's society we're seeing that there's more and more people experiencing, especially men, experiencing drastic and catastrophic situations. And I'm going to go over and over the whole situation, for example, with Will Smith. I'm not going to play no more videos about it because we, at this point, we all have seen what happened to Will Smith. You know, it pains me to see an actor of such the caliber of Will Smith being reduced to what he has been reduced to defend a woman that doesn't even respect him. We all know that. And in all honesty, it's such a shame that, how can I say it? It's such a shame that we still see this woman trying to profit out of his suffering. And we've seen this happen with him time after time after time. But we think this is only happening to random people. We don't understand the extent of what's going on. And it's so crazy because when I was putting together this show, I've had collected um, a few things and a few clips that I wanted to share with you guys uh, that definitely are going to be, like I said at the beginning of the show, are going to be triggering to some folks that this might hit too close to home. So, like I said again, I'll repeat it one more time. If you are easily triggered by this, either because you experience something similar or because the topic is triggering altogether, then just today you don't have to support the show. But if you're not, then let's jump right into it. And I'm going to start with something that people might have spoken about, but they are not seeing it in the right context. In my opinion, uh, you guys have heard at this point of the very notorious Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard's case. I think America and the whole world is watching every time that, this whole channel goes on, and, we all connect to YouTube and listen to Johnny Depp's, ordeal with his former wife, Amber Heard. We know they got married in 2015, and that eventually she made claims that basically ruined his career. And he lost one of the most beloved characters that he used to play, which was Pirates of the Caribbean. She got promoted. She got half of his $68 million fortune. And no, she got 68, I think. 68? Something like that. So $68 million, I think she got. And little did she know that Johnny eventually, you guys know that tapes were released where she was the one that was abusing Johnny Depp, because a lot of people started saying, like, I've been with Johnny Depp in a relationship, and I mean, he might use drugs and whatnot, but he will never be aggressive towards you. And so many people started supporting Johnny Depp. And then when audio started coming out about Amber Heard being the abuser, then a lot of people started like, oh, we don't like this woman. But somehow Warner Brothers have not removed this lady from any role. And it's so crazy because it's the same thing that happened with Chris Knott. There's a lot of people that, a lot of ladies that have gotten into scandals and stuff. They never lose their jobs. But the minute an accusation, not a prosecution or charges, are pressed against a male, they lose their livelihood. And I want you guys to pay close attention to what Johnny Depp says, in this clip that I'm going to play for you guys. Pay close attention to what he responds.
What did you say in response when Miss Heard said, "Tell the world, Johnny, tell them Johnny Depp, I, Johnny Depp, a man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence"?
I said, yes, I am.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
As you guys can see, to hear this, I don't know if you guys understand, but to hear a man in today's society having to just bring up and bring forward their case through a defamation trial instead of just pressing regular charges, because he's not going to be believed. Even on the audio released, Amber Heard tells him, nobody's going to believe you. Now, if roles were reversed and he was the one saying that to Amber, we will call him all kinds of names. But then, what do we call this lady when we see her doing this to basically a broken man? And you can see in his demeanor how broken he is. Even in his weight, you can see how broken Johnny Depp is right now compared to who he was before Amber. And it's insane that this man had to endure not only physical abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, to the point that this woman even defecated in his bed, in his side, like on his side of the bed. So you guys can imagine like how it must feel for Johnny Depp to actually even having to face this person in court. And the only way for you to get some kind of remedy is by um, suing her for defamation. But moving forward, that's not the only situation. Later on, we've been hearing a lot about the infamous West Kardashian divorce. And this one is something that I think a lot of people are not analyzing in the right way because, of course, we know through many experiences, the Kardashian clan, even though I am a huge fan, um, I enjoy the fact that this lady's made something out of nothing. But something like kind of has been triggering like my spider senses, and it's the fact that I've heard many times during this whole divorce that Kim wanted to divorce, and the reason for her divorce um, from Kanye was that she wasn't happy, that she couldn't be with him and follow him around the world, and because her life was in LA. So I'm like, at this point, well, maybe, it seems a little bit reasonable. But then we started listening more and more and more. And she's like, well, I enjoy, having this new person going with me to the gym. And I started seeing Chloe working out with Tristan. And I said, I wanted that, and so on. And then I want you guys to pay close attention to what she says right now about her relationship with Pete, and I'll come back with more commentary regarding this. But just pay close attention to what she says, okay?
Driving in the car yesterday, and I just like looked at him and I was like, thank you. And he's like, what? And I was like, for running errands with me. Like, this is so much fun just to like go to a doctor's appointment or go to the dentist and just like run errands. Like, I'm having so much fun.
It's like back to the beginning, back to before everything, right?
Yeah. I mean, and again, like, it's not to say that any amazing big experience I had was not so much fun as well and so worth it. It's just like where I'm at in life. I feel like we've worked so hard and we just want to enjoy, different things. Like, and I'm just so content.
That's a beautiful word, by the way.
So I don't know if you guys like catch up to her vibe. She is content here, which is something that she wasn't before, because this new man that she has in her life can run errands with her, go to the doctor with her, and be with her overall. And my point being is like, at first you might think, because I've seen a lot of ladies commenting things like, well, Kanye wasn't present and she was fulfilling her duty as a wife and he wasn't there as a husband and as a father and blah, 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 and so on, so on, so on, so on. And I remember growing up, it wasn't as if my dad was 100% of the time at the home because he was mostly working. And then I realized, I'm like, if my dad wasn't even close to a millionaire and he had to work so much, I can only imagine Kanye West being a billionaire. The Billionaires Club is a very exclusive club in the world. So imagine the amount of work that man actually has to do and how busy he really is, to the point that he can provide this crazy exclusive top of the top lifestyle to his wife Kim Kardashian and his 4 kids. And let's not forget, there was a point where Kanye West was in so much debt that even producing music or creating an album put him in debt, cost him money. And he had to work endlessly, not only to dress his wife throughout all these years, but to provide her with several homes, a lot of luxurious things, and a very luxurious lifestyle. And I'm like, if you're going to compare uh, Pete Davidson with Kanye West, because at first it felt as if she was trying to say or imply that she was divorcing him because she was overwhelmed with his bipolar disorder diagnosis. But then she starts saying that this was the reason. So the reason behind it is that she could not understand her role in her man's life, to the point that she gave him a family, which is what any man wants, any man that desires marriage, of course. But then when she's in the middle of it, she cannot really fulfill that in the long run, because last time I checked, he helped her and she helped him. They both help each other. She was, in the spotlight as well. She made her $1 billion. Why can you not stop doing the damn show and go be with your man that's also a billionaire and has no time? Men that run the world and run things don't have time to work out with you, don't have time to run errands with you. The same way he's not requesting of you to actually abandon the kids in the household and then go be with him everywhere he goes, and do transactions with him and run things that he does. So it seems to me like she wants certain things, but she wants them for free. You cannot have luxury and also a man that's always with you. If you want a man that's always with you, you're going to have to settle with a man that has less money than you or makes very little money. I don't know what's the net worth of Pete Davidson, but I'm pretty sure it's nowhere close to Kanye. Like, so if you guys think that you guys agree with me, put a number 1 in the chat. If you disagree with me, put a number 2. But to be honest, this is something that's so, so, so weird. And then it went even further, because there was a point where Kim Kardashian and Kanye West were not an item. There was a point where Kim Kardashian was married to a man that wanted to do the little things with her. And I want you guys to listen to this next clip, and what you can hear what happens when she married a man that can do little things with her because he makes little money. Let's just pay close attention to what Kim Kardashian talks about when she decides she no longer wants to be with her former husband, Chris Humphries.
It's hard for me. I had dinner with him last night one-on-one and I was going crazy. I have nothing to talk to him about. He's a good heart. He's a Christian. He's everything on paper, exactly what I want in someone. But for some reason, my heart isn't connecting. I've tried and I've tried, but I don't know what to do. And I want my whole family at least to back me. You think I feel good that I, met this guy from Minnesota and I feel awful that, I made him move out here and, change his whole life and I feel bad for him? I feel sad. I feel bad for the guy. I changed his whole life and he fell in love with me and I fell in love with him and now my feelings have changed. You don't think I feel bad that I invited all these people to this huge wedding and flew everyone out? I wasted everyone's time. I wasted everyone's money. I wasted everyone's everything, and I feel bad. You don't think I feel bad? At 30 years old, I thought I'd be married with kids, and I'm not. And I failed at this, and you think that I don't feel bad? People change their mind. People make mistakes.
So, as you guys can see, this lady, again, she had what she now wants. It seems to me, and I'm just going to give my opinion, it seems to me that she doesn't know what she wants. She has had all the things, but it seems to me that she wants everything. She wants perfection. She wants everything that's out there. You can't expect a man that provide more and be at a certain status and give you a certain lifestyle and then, be there with you. I see that MK says that's why you can't go off feelings. Yeah, absolutely. Feelings are not necessarily needed in decision making, especially when are life-changing things. I see that Jose put a number 1. He agrees with me, and Rakim also agrees with me. Yeah, definitely. It's something that's so weird, guys. I don't understand. You have the guy that actually wants to do those things with you, You're married to him. You did a very immense wedding. You know, you got a huge ring. You got everything you ever wanted. It's not like he's a peasant. He was still a millionaire. You know, he was very tall, very strong. A lot of women find him very attractive. To me, he looks a little bit like Frankenstein, but that was her choice. But that wasn't enough. That did not make her feel happy. Now she felt at that point that she was happy with Kanye, but then she wasn't happy. She didn't feel happy. So she moves on to Pete because Kanye, even though he provided what Chris Humphries did not, then he can provide what Pete Davidson can provide. So I don't know if you guys can see the trail of male emotional corpses on this woman's journey, because you have to think about, I don't know if you guys were aware of the emotional damage that Chris Humphries was put through, because he was basically being made fun of because he wanted a simple life with her. And he even said it. He had like an emotional breakdown because 72 days for a marriage that cost him millions of dollars, and then he thought that that was going to be it, that he was going to just go ahead and have kids. Let's remember, he was only 26 years old when he married this 30-year-old woman. So what do you do? And then you get with this man and you've been friends with him for so long. He does all these things with you. He even becomes like very Christian, tries to change his ways and do whatever he wants for you, provides you with a beautiful house, with everything that you can ask for, or any woman can ask for, and then some. And then that's not enough. It's like now you're torturing him and trying to paint him as a person that was never present, when you knew what you were getting into when you got with a person that wanted to provide for you like a lifestyle. And then I said that wasn't enough. Now we move on to Pete Davidson. What do you guys think is going to happen when Pete cannot enter certain spaces that Kanye could? When he could not open certain doors that Kanye could? Because it's going to go away. Do you guys see? Put a number 1 in the chat if you think that you see Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson walking down the aisle. Because I don't. And then we like to blame Kanye West and say like, oh, like he was going crazy and he was doing all this stuff on the internet and whatnot. But then at the same time, you have to think about it. This man thought, this is it. This woman has been my friend for over a decade. And then we married. We've been together for 6 years. We have 4 kids together. No 1, 2, or 3, 4 kids together. We're going to be together forever. He invested most of his fortune in his family, as any man should. And one day after the other, she doesn't want to follow this man's lead because she wants to be tied up to her family and her show. And all of a sudden, you're the bad guy. All of a sudden. You don't get invited to parties. You don't get invited to anything. And then you get regulated and made fun of by the new boyfriend. Just put yourself in Kanye West's position. But I think a lot of people are not actually watching this from this perspective, which is very worrisome because, in my opinion, there is some low-key emotional abuse here going on. It's 2 men already, 2. Because when it was just Chris Humphries, we thought, well, maybe he's just too clingy, he can't move on, whatever. But now you have 2 guys. Now, you come up with your own conclusions. But in my opinion, these 2 cases that, and I'm going to end the celebrity part here. These 2 cases, in my opinion, are things that have a ripple or like a ripple effect into society because they're so mainstream and people tend to copy what they associate themselves with. And one thing that saddens me is that you are able to see that not even a billionaire, which is Kanye, and not even a millionaire dude that's like super VIP, super talented, a very important man, none of them have access to any resources or avenues to either press charges or seek any type of remedy for the abuse that they are experiencing. I don't know if you guys are noticing that. And then it brings me to the question about why Men Too is not as big as Me Too. And it's simply because we have grown to shame men for speaking out, and I've seen it starting from law enforcement, for the injustice system, politicians, media, and so on. And that brings me to another example that I'm going to ask right now, because what I am going to play, it's not like celebrity stuff, it's more like a day-to-day stuff. But I'm pretty sure you guys are very familiar with the divested group in America. And a clip has been circulating lately regarding these divestors. There is a lady specifically that's called Divested Seller. I think that's her name. I've happened to go to her platform one time and heard her point, because I'm like, I believe in freedom of speech. But then I started realizing that her icon was a black man hanging from a tree while a woman swings from that tree happily on a swing. And the fact that that can exist on YouTube, because when I talk about C19, when I talk about politics, when I talk about certain things, I get censored. Make no mistake, I've gotten hit with copyright strikes and other strikes left and right. But then this type of violence can exist with no repercussions on YouTube. And it's growing. It's growing drastically. And you see that it's not the fact, like, I believe you should divest if you want to. I believe in you should marry whoever you want. Especially because we're seeing now more and more that by being in proximity with one another, we stop appreciating one another. That happens in every community. I see more people coming in. Make sure you hit the like button. And if you want to participate, I'm going to share the link very soon. So as I was saying, it's very crazy to me that you have this happen on such a public platform and no type of reporting is happening, no type of censorship is happening. This targeted harassment and violence is being put out there for men that we see on the street every day. So it's not only Johnny Depp or Kanye West. It's not only Will Smith. It's not only Chris Nath. It's not only Bill Cosby. We're now seeing targeted regular men that you see from day to day. So it could be your brother, your cousin, your husband, your boyfriend, whoever could be targeted by these groups. And I want to play a clip. And like I said before, this is extremely graphic, because this platform that I'm talking about, this lady, the divested zealot, it's extremely violent. This lady is violent, and it's extremely dangerous. So I advise, discretion to the people that are going to listen to this. Like I said, it's very graphic. So if you're triggered by this, don't listen. But I'm going to play it. Pay close attention to what's said and the reaction after what's said. How ladies can just hear this and laugh. Just hear this stuff.
No one thought to say and voice their opinion that when I look at these white men, they are the epitome of masculine, and watching some of these police officers manhandle these black men in the street is very attractive, and it's a turn on, and I'm wondering, does anybody else feel like that?
Hold on.
Yes, Lord.
Y'all off the chain, okay?
Now, I don't know if you guys, like I said, this is something, and I could not play anything else because this is just for fair use, of course, and I have to adapt it to this. But the fact that this is put out there, that a man, we're just seeing, you know, a white dude like Johnny Depp admitting in open court to the public, I'm a victim of domestic abuse. That's literally what he said. So it's not a matter of black and white. It's not a matter of, brown, black, yellow, Asian, whatever. It's not a matter of that. It's a matter of the temperature where males are living in this world. And I fear not only for our future sons, not only for the men out there that I possibly don't know and are going through this, but I fear for the men right now that are not being taught that this is the temperature that they're living in. And also the fact that, it's getting worse. I see that MK says, some evil bitches on that stream. Yeah, definitely. And I see that, hey, Risa Realm, he says, cancel her. And that's, oh, hey, Morena, how are you, sweetheart? It's nice to have you here. I see that. And if you're watching this either live or on the replay, it's time to report this lady, because the message is, there's nothing wrong with you having a preference on who you date. If you have a fetish and you want to date a white dude because you think he's hot and you love white people, then go ahead. I support you. I celebrate you. I'm very happy for you. But to be honest with you, the fact that you're encouraging hate and you're portraying a man hanging from a tree simply because he shares your complexion, that is not a healthy message out there. And this lady is a terrorist. So if you are watching this, like I said, live or on the replay, please go to that channel and report that channel, because that channel needs to go. Okay, this is a reach. It's too much. This world needs more peace and more conversation. We don't need more violence between men and women. We need to actually de-escalate the situation. And not only that, it's time for us to start bringing these people into the light, because the last time I checked, I did a little bit of my homework on this lady. According to what I have heard, this lady is in the medical field. This lady is in the medical field in Florida. So if I'm talking about divested Celit, Morena. So I just want to ask you guys, if this is the channel that she runs, and she is, I believe, a nurse, I'm not sure, but she's in the medical field. Imagine that she has to provide care to a black male. Do you guys think that this lady that promotes violence and death to men she doesn't interact with, do you think this type of person that has to take an oath to preserve life and promote saving lives, this person should hold a license in the medical field? I don't think so. Do you guys agree with that? Like, let me know in the chat. Do you think a lady that's promoting the death of people should hold a medical license? Because last time I checked, I've never heard a doctor or any nurse talk in this manner. I've never in my life heard that. And to the people that are coming in, that are still coming in, please hit that like button. This stream is gonna go as long as I could take it. And like I said, I'm going to share the link very soon. So we're seeing that it's not only Amber Heard, it's not only Kim Kardashian, it's not only Jada Pinkett, it's also day-to-day people. It's also day-to-day people. And it's very scary that the same things that we protested towards us as ladies, now we want to do that against males that did not do that against us. And it's so insane. It's so insane. I see that Jose says, no way. Yeah, she should not hold a medical license. MK says she cannot be trusted because black men will end up dead in her presence. And then Morena says she's an extremist. Shaking my head, in the medical field. I don't know if you had the opportunity to listen to the clip of what goes on her channel. But there was the episode that I listened to bits and pieces of, because I didn't want to believe what people told me. I wanted to see it for myself. She was like, "Oh my God, that's so gross. I haven't had an interaction with a black man in so long." And I can only imagine, because at that point I didn't knew this lady was in the medical field. Imagine that you happen to have a black boy and she's the nurse that is tending to your kid, to your boy that you raise and love. Do you feel safe putting the life of your son into the life of your son into the hands of this person? I don't. I honestly don't. And I will check everything she does. So, like I said, it's time for us, because that's another thing that I want to say to the gentleman before we enter this whole discussion. There's many women out there that are very moderate, and we believe in fairness. Neither men or women should be abused in any way. And I'm pretty sure that we support and will support anything that you guys do. But it's time for men, as I think I spoke about this on Jose's platform a while ago. It's time for men to organize. It's time for men to come up with a movement that can change certain aspects of legislation, because men like Johnny Depp should not have to endure having his bedside defecated on, being through cans at his head, being slapped and punched in the face constantly, then have a woman tell him nobody will believe him, and having to sue several times just to be heard. I see that Morena says, "No, I haven't listened, but the hanging tree she has as one of her thumbnails is enough to tell me her character." Absolutely. I see that Rizoram says, "Misandrists shouldn't be doctors." No, nobody that's like that should be in the medical field. It's time for men to start moving like women do when it comes to the law. And to the ladies that love to come at me and love to call me a misogynistic, this, and that, I'm going to tell you something. There's going to come a point, if you don't support, because I know there's a spectrum of guys that are like also like the divested zealot, that are like in that spectrum, and we have to let them go. But there's a bulk of people that's moderate, that doesn't believes in the balance of both. And that's the people I'm talking about. And there's going to come a point where we're going to keep squishing the moderate man into becoming extremists. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with The Handmaid's Tale. I don't want to scare y'all, but you can take, certain things from a dude until his nature will kick in. Men are not going to stop being men of nature. They're still going to feel that urge that something is missing. And they have the strength to do that. So if we keep pushing things, we're going to get a more aggressive response. We need to live in harmony, in balance. That's where things can get worked through. And we can keep slapping men's mouth because we don't like what they say. We need to have the conversation. And in all honesty, I'm encouraging guys, it's time to, and I understand podcasts are venting systems right now for a lot of guys, but it's time to act. It's time to unite and demand legislation that is pro-men. That is my opinion. That's my perspective. But maybe, you disagree with me. Maybe you have something else to add. I want to hear from you. If you are a guy or a woman that wants to share your perspective about this whole situation and what we're seeing with the abuse and how subtle society wants to focus on this, and you're tired of it, then come up. I want to chat with you. I want to have a conversation with you, because this topic needs to be front and center at all times, because right now we are at risk. And I want to say something else that I'm noticing right now the whole thing with Johnny Depp, in my opinion, is bringing a little bit of a precedent to what we're seeing. It's kind of like what Drake did with the woman that accused him of assault, that he sued her back. It's time to do these things. Use the law to your benefit. Just use the law to your benefit. Now I see that Jose is here. What's up, Jose?
Good evening, Denise. How you doing tonight?
I am good. How about you?
Oh, I'm okay. This is a very interesting topic. The fact of the matter is what's happening to men out there. And, people like to paint a narrative that men cannot be victims. That's not true. Men could just as easily be victims. The difference is, unfortunately, we're living in a day where people look at us like we're crazy or we're insane or we're possessed if we come out and we admit we are victims of abuse, because we can be victims of abuse, not just women abusing men, but also in within the LGBTQI plus community. And if I left out any letters, please forgive me. Men can be victims of abuse by other men.
Yeah, I think you just brought up another point. The fact that other men, because I've seen that. Look, there was a time when I used to work at a gas station, and many years ago, and there was this lady and this guy that came late at night into this vehicle, and this lady grabbed the gas nozzle and started hitting the man. I got so scared that I called the police. Hey, Christina, what's up? It's nice to have you here. So I called the police, and when the cops arrived, they started laughing when I was telling them what was going on. And I was like, it's not a joke. So when they went and interviewed the dude, he denied everything. But like, how do you feel comfortable as a man to tell law enforcement that's laughing at you that you're being the victim of violence? How do you even start that conversation? Where is the empathy? Because as women, we have a lot of empathy, and society encourages everybody to have empathy. But then we have the Johnny Depps of life. Where do they go when men, your own gender, is not united and it conspires against you or shames you into shutting up? So I'm glad you brought up that point.
Yeah. What's the problem is, and this is another problem as well, we had multiple concepts of what is being a man. So when you have multiple concepts, it's very hard for us to develop empathy. I don't know if you are aware of the series Law and Order SVU.
Yes.
There's an episode about 20 years ago where a man was raped by a female.
Oh, assaulted. Don't use the R word. Assaulted.
Okay, I stand corrected. Assaulted. The fact of the matter is the police did not want to believe him that a man can be sexually assaulted. And that was like 20 years ago. Here we are in 2022, and we're still having a hard time accepting the fact men can be victims of abuse.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's something that, I don't know how to, I don't even know how to reiterate like this whole thing about the lack of support from law enforcement to the injustice system to your neighbors to your coworkers, So to be honest with you, what can be done? And I want guys, because look, and I'm not trying to shame nobody right now, but this topic is for guys. 86% of the people that watch me are males. watch my platform. Only 14% is ladies. And yet, here, there's only one person up here talking about this, bringing awareness about this. Because I can't speak for men. Men have to speak up for themselves. And like I said, where should we proceed to go and follow and support when there's no movement? I just heard Dr. TSM talking the other day about how the BLM organization is literally profiting, buying mansions off of black males' death. Okay? George Floyd was lynched for the public to see. The whole world was disgusted. And with that money, this lady bought a mansion to live the luxe life in the back of a black man's death. And this is not the first time we've seen this. Jada Pinkett is still profiting from her humiliation of Will Smith. She's still doing it. It's like, this is something that's happening. Amber Heard is still profiting from trashing Johnny Depp. She is profiting right now as we speak because she still has not lost anything, whereas Johnny Depp lost everything from his dignity, his money, his career, some of his houses, you know? And then there's still people that are males shaming him on the internet today. And there's nothing being done. And to what degree do we continue to bring awareness about this when men are going to, what's the next step? Like, if that's the case, like, what's the next step for you guys, in your opinion, Jose, to proceed in order to advocate for legislation? Hello?
Okay. What we need, hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
What we need to do, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear
What
you.
we need to do, okay, what we need to do is whenever politicians are running for any type of office, whether it be mayor, whether it be Congress, whether it be senator, whether it be your local representatives, we need to put these, put the fire to these candidates, and we need to ask the question: okay, what is your platform regarding issues that affect men? Okay, and then if there's a candidate that does not support our agenda, then we should not be supporting. We need to be educated as far as who to vote for. Number one. Number two, it's going to start with small groups, and we need to reach out and let them and let men know it's okay to acknowledge if you've been a victim. The problem is you can take 100 men, you're going to get 100 different concepts on what it is to be a man, and that's the problem. So what we need to do is let them know.
I understand,
you know
that,
what?
but the thing is, like, for example, with women, we had feminism and the ERA movement. What is the movement that men are starting? Because I mean, I've seen a lot of complaints, and most of them are valid, but like, where's the action?
Yeah.
What is the next step? We need to know more. We need to take action. We're ready to support, like I said before. Where are the organizations where we can donate, where we can go, what we can do? Like, these things, unfortunately, and like I said, look at the stream. Usually, there is several people discussing this topic, but this is a topic, and just to show it as a proof, this topic is a topic that many males feel that they should not speak up about this, because that's the position we put them as a society. I see that MK is here to represent What's up, MK? Can you hear us? I think he cannot hear us. But let me know whenever
Uh,
you're ready. Unmute yourself. But continue, Jose.
yeah.
I'm here.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
good
Can
Then
you
evening,
hear me?
MK.
yes,
Long
I
time
can
no
hear
hear.
you. So
Huh?
what do you think, in your opinion, will be like the next step when it comes to this type of situations, so that we can create a channel where men that are experiencing any type of abuse, either in relationships or outside of relationships or even at work? A lot of men suffer from sexual harassment, but they don't have an avenue to speak about these things, and they're supposed to brush it off. So what do you think, in your opinion, should be the next step for men? MK, they got him. They literally got him. Well, guys, while MK gets his audio together, like I said, this is a topic that I don't have any more like words to describe, um what we're seeing is unprecedented. It disgusts me, and I am glad that,
Mhm.
you know, people like Johnny Depp had the courage to bring it forward, even though he was
Yes.
alone for many years. I am very proud of Johnny Depp today. So, MK, you have something to say?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay. Shoot. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Oh, wow.
Cause you borged
Oh.
out. You borged out when I was trying to talk.
No, I was saying, like, what is the next step for men? Because podcasts
Men
can
need.
only go so far.
Well, they have to organize. Like I
They,
understand. Well, we. But the thing is, like, you have people like Dr. Son Johnson, and though people might be like, well, he's an advocate for black men, he normally just tells men in general, like, whether he talks about just black men, it doesn't matter. It goes for all of us. We need to learn how to get together and form a political agenda. We need to sit down and write down laws and stuff that we need and that we want pushed, so things like this won't happen to. I think
yeah,
it's a disservice when we go into situations thinking because, oh, well, because I can take it, uh that we don't need anything, we look like punks or something. And I think another issue with that too is this whole, like, ever since we started doing this podcast, a lot of people have been a lot of men have been in this mode of alpha it through. Well, that would never happen to me. There's situations I've had to pause and stop saying that about, because it has happened to me. You have been the simp. You have been the guy that let women hit on you. There ain't never. You can't tell me there ain't never been a scenario. If it hasn't been that one, then it has been, and it has been anyone.
yeah, yeah.
The
And
problem
and
with, oh,
no, go
sorry.
ahead.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems is just this, like I said, alpha it through. No dude is an alpha all the time. There's times in the beginning of our lives where we were beta. And even in this level of alpha, even as a grown ass man, there's times where we fall short and we'll simp and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So put like men in this position where we have to do this 24/7 when it doesn't really happen like that is ridiculous. Well, you
Yeah.
got to be this way, you got to be that way. What about the dudes who aren't like that? Instead of shaming them, why don't you help them? If they don't want help, then that's on them. But we have a tendency to just shame them. There are some dudes who really want some help with that.
Yeah, and I it's such a nice point also that you're bringing up, because it goes to show basically what we were discussing here, but in more detail. The fact that, because it's the same thing that we say with certain women. Other women make the rest of the women have bad results in certain aspects, uh the same thing goes for the men. It's not women out here shaming men for their abuse, it's other men. And that is the sad part. you know I'll fight through, rub some dirt on it, man the hell up, or do this. you know there's certain moments when that energy is needed. you know but when a person is experiencing such a traumatic experience as abuse, and they have nowhere to go because society frowns when they see that, instead of just giving them the tools, or the key, or the tools to actually manage that, and the avenues to actually you know get through that moment. You don't have to be with the person and support them, you don't want to, but the avenues need to be there so the person can take those steps. And when you have other men cheering on this horrendous subculture of males abuse and the eternal silence, then you got to question yourself, where do we go from here? What can be done, if anything can be done?
Yeah, a lot of men are just lazy. We gotta have to be honest, and I'm a man too. A lot of us is lazy.
You think
We
so?
can't sit on here with. This is one thing about these panels and podcasts that gets me a little irritated. Even I've had to realize that about me starting my own channel, which is why I stopped doing it. At some point, you just got to do work.
Yeah.
At some
Yeah.
point, talking about it on a podcast ain't gonna do it. Now, if you're gonna talk about do it on a podcast, one, we got to get away from the dating aspect of, because there's more ways that we get abused than just in the dating aspect. Work, uh, you know, family and family situations. Are besides all of that, there's a whole plethora.
Oh, you're breaking out. You're breaking out, MK. Well, MK gets his. I see that Morena says facts, MK. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with him 100%. And that is something that not a lot of guys would admit. Go ahead, Jose.
No, because you know what it is that there are men that are fearful that if they actually express it, that those things, first of all, we're gonna be looked upon as weak, not just by women, by men. But the fact of the matter is, we're gonna have to get to the point when we to say, the heck with this. I am not going to hide what I feel. I'm not gonna hide what I have to say. And we're gonna have to like show our support to other men that are dealing with these issues,
Mhm.
who are, who want to acknowledge it, but they don't know how, or they're fearful of acknowledging it.
Yeah. And it all starts, like I said, it all starts with creating. I think there should be a movement. There should, because this is not something that only men are feeling in America. This is something that men are also feeling in Latin America. This is something that men are feeling in the UK, in Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Ireland. Come on, this is something even Asian men are experiencing right now. So it's almost cringe-worthy when I hear that this is just a Latino problem, or this is just African American problem, or this is just like a white dude's problem, or this is something like only like British dudes' problems. No, this is a male's problem today. This is something that, because we focus so much, it's kind of like the same thing where we protected the girls so much while growing up because we didn't want them to get assaulted, that we didn't pay attention to the boys, and the boys got assaulted. Do you get my point? It happens all the time. I see that Robert says this is one of the benefits of social media. We're exposing the truth and destroying the narrative. I absolutely. He said Amber Heard is getting exposed. Yeah, Amber Heard is literally the token for every female abuser out there. I don't know if you guys have realized that. Like, there's still women that will remain quiet rather than just admit Amber Heard was wrong, because they went so hard at Johnny Depp, just like they're going right now at Chris Nath.
Hello, can you hear me?
Without even having facts. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, well, that's because of silence too. Like I said, dudes have to take. At some point, dudes are gonna have to start realizing you're taking L's. When you don't speak, you take L's. When you don't do, you take L's. And I personally think
Yeah.
that, like I said, if we're gonna start doing all these damn podcasts and all these damn things, then we need to do something away from the relation. I'm tired of hearing about relationships for a minute. If you
Yeah.
motherfuckers can't get it at this point, then you ain't never gonna get it. So let's talk about how other ways that this affects us, how other ways that us have, by us catering to the women in our family, have we been shut up? For us catering to female friends, how we've been ignored, our advice has been ignored, how us dealing with coworkers have been accused of things that we have. There's so many other things, but we're so focused on relationships and how that affects us. And we just need to tame. If you can't, you don't even know what the issue is. You haven't even addressed the main issue. Because
Yeah,
at the
you
end of the
haven't.
day, you're talking about taming the woman that you're with. And it's, at some point, there's a whole bunch of women that you're not tied to that you're going to have to deal with.
Yeah.
So how do we as men on these podcasts talk about issues that are affecting us, like being at work, and how to, you know, uh, to avoid these situations, how to get together and form podcasts, like special episodes where we can talk about how can we get together, and at the end we invite other men to do a group or something. If you need some help or you need some support and you've been through these situations, how can we help you? But
Absolutely.
instead of that, we up here talking shit. And it's the same thing with the Will Smith situation. Oh, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have did that. That first of all, that's his wife. So that it goes either way, and you don't know what you do. Because
Yeah,
however you guys have done stuff like that, you just don't want to say it. All of us have done some stupid shit,
that is true. And that, but that
and
goes to
shaming them
show.
is not gonna make it any better. Shaming them, if anything, pushed it to the position where everybody else is canceling them now.
Yeah, and
Instead of
if
being private about it, yo, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have did that shit. Oh, he a simp. Now everybody canceling this movie because you opened your fucking mouth.
so basically, it's something to, and I think I should proceed to do another show regarding certain things related to this topic, specifically like the organization of men after you know these things have came to light, you know and like I said, the fact that you have had you know left and right men shaming a public figure, because it's so like, just when your heart cannot sink any lower, uh and you hear, because when I heard that this lady defecated on Johnny Depp's bed, I didn't knew that detail. You know, you have to say, "Oh wow!" Like, if Johnny Depp can get no justice or charges pressed, how my simple mortal self is going to get their point across if I'm ever in a position like that? How am I gonna ever be heard? How am I gonna ever be believed in the first place? Johnny Depp couldn't. Hey Johnny, what's up? It's nice to see you over here. I wish you would have been here from the beginning, but I know, some people have stuff to do. But in all honesty, like I said, if Johnny Depp had to sue twice, one in the UK, one now in America, just to prove to people how he was abused for a long period of time by this lady that everybody believed, then what hopes the regular man has today in America and in the world? What hopes?
What I think and I could be wrong, but I'm going to say it anyway. I mean, we're going to have to learn the form, okay, the form political groups and action groups and movement groups to equal things up. Part of the problem is okay, I'm going to speak for myself. Okay, I'm not going to speak for anybody else. Um, I have no idea how to form such a movement. And I'm
Yeah,
going to be the
that
first one to admit it here now.
yeah, that's usually the sentiment, but it has to start using the resources that you guys have. Right now you have social media,
Hmm.
then it can start from there. And the thing is, like, it has to start meanings from there. Like, hey, I'm gonna start this little chapter of, like, let's say men too, and we're gonna gather at this place every third Saturday of the month, for example. And even if two dog gatos show up, you keep building it up and you start spreading the word. Every day, every third Saturday of the month, we're going to meet at this place or that park or whatever, and we're going to start demanding legislation. We're going to start doing this, and we're going to start going to the press, and we're going to start, getting our word out. That's how movements usually start. It's time
Okay.
for men to organize. It's time to
Yeah.
unite.
Because let me tell you what's gonna happen. If she wins after all this stuff has come out, what that's gonna do is just make things way worse for us. This is the time now to speak about it. This is the time to organize. Hell, forget speaking. It's time to organize and actually put out what you want to put out. Like I say, like I said, because Dr. Tia Johnson is an advocate for black men. I mean, every group of men can come up with their own thing and then join forces, like a basically like a rainbow coalition. Oh, Latino men, white men, black men. We all have our own movements within our group because of the issues that's going on, and then we can come together as men united and just fight the issue all together. Because there are some things within our group that is slightly different that we have to fight against, but at the end of the day, we're all going through the same thing. And what happens is if we don't fight it, then laws and stuff are just going to continue. And if anything, it's probably going to get worse because it's going to
Yeah.
be like no matter how much you want to bring her into the light, she's going to win regardless because nobody's speaking up and saying anything and holding her accountable, men or women.
Yep. Yep. And that is something that I want to leave this particular show with. If there's nobody else that will come up, I'm gonna start wrapping it up. Um, but I want to say, guys, that it's nice that you brought up that point, MK. Amber Heard already won in the UK because Johnny Depp lost. And I don't know if you guys remember, I think it was last year or the year before, when in the UK they wanted to uh, quarantine men past 6 p.m. because of one lady that came up missing. It's coming.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yep. It's coming. That's
Yeah,
the
I
UK.
remember that.
It got worse for men out there. It's worse over there for men. And it's coming to a city near you, believe it or not. And like I said, I believe both men and women should have the freedom to do what they think is right.
Mhm.
But none of us should get in the way of one another, you know? And this
Mhm.
whole weirdo behavior and this whole fear that we want to keep promoting about men, it's getting worse for men. And it's sad that we're seeing that matriarchy is scaring the living hell. It's getting men to shit in their pants to the point that they're too scared to speak up and do something and talk to their neighbor man and the co-workers that they have. Hey, I'm gonna bring you over, let's meet at this park Saturday, we're gonna talk about this and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. Like, it's so sad that we're not seeing those little groups being formed. It's really sad, and I hope it happens soon. So guys, I'm gonna get your final thoughts on this topic. I'm not gonna have a backstage today because I have somewhere to go, but I'm gonna allow you guys to have 3 to 5 minutes, and you can give your closing statements regarding this. And I'm going to start with Jose. Final thoughts, Jose, on hashtag men too.
Well, first of all, thank you for allowing me to be on your platform. It's you've been deeply missed as far as your perspective, but for various reasons, we understand that. But the fact of the matter is, it's past the time for men to start supporting each other. It's past the time that we need to speak up and we need to, reform a movement to try to counteract all this craziness that's happening. And we need to make it a political movement, just like women in the 50s and the 60s. We need to do something as far as the men to let people know that we count and that we're not going to go away. Um, Unfortunately, it's going to take a few brave people um, to do it. So hopefully, other men will step forward and man up, so to speak. Again, thank you, and I'm glad to hear from Melanated Night. It's been a while since I heard from both of you guys, and please forgive me for a little plug. I just want to let everybody know that if you have not done so, I do have a channel called Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. I'm gonna ask check out my channel, and I'm gonna be live Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and the topic will be how to deal with grief. And in fact, I'm gonna have an expert that's gonna give a clinical review. That being said, of course, I'm going to close the same way I always do. Do not let the errors of the past damage your future. And we must do everything possible to minimize our contact with a mentally and intellectually challenged, because if we fail to do so, we will be infected by their stupidity and massive insanity. That being said, I hope that you please make sure that you support Latin Splaining, subscribe, like, and hit the bell notification to all. So therefore, whenever Denise does go live, you will be notified, and then you'll have an opportunity to catch her contact live. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jose, for that. I'm gonna put you in the back. Like I said, I'm not gonna have a backstage today, but we'll talk in the future. Okay. Now I'm gonna go. Thank you very much. Okay. I'm gonna have MK now give his final thoughts. You have 3 to 5 minutes. Final thoughts on men too.
All right, but I just wanted to say, like, it's about high time we talk about some serious stuff. We've like I keep reiterating, we didn't talk about the hoes and the tricks and stuff, but we need to talk about our issues with what's going us, actual issues that affect us, not only with domestic violence, but with how our emotional state has been, how men's mental state, and how to get us in a better shape for the future, and how to get our sons and daughters in better shape for the future. There got to be more podcasts than just all these relationships. And I love Kevin, like, don't get me wrong, he's the bro, like, but there's got to be something else than that, and we got to stop with the alpha your way through everything. Some men are not strong enough to do that. And
Yeah.
the ones that don't want to, you know, take your help and grab your hand and learn how to navigate and don't want to listen, then you got to leave them to their own devices. But we can't assume that's every man out. There's some men that just need help. They just don't know how to ask for it. They don't know how to speak because, like men, we're taught not to say anything if we need help. We're taught to just bulldoze your way through, and that ain't every man is not strong like that. Some of us had to learn it. Some of us had to go to therapy to get it. Some of us had to learn it the hard way. Some of us has been depressed for years, and we just now got to that point. So it's up to us to have a conversation with each other and pull ourselves up. And not only with that, but to create things in place so this won't happen to our sons in the future. Because God knows we don't need another generation that's depressed. Because the next group, Gen Z's already looking kind of defeated a little bit. God
Yeah.
knows what happens if the next generation come in and we allow this to happen. Then you're really not going to see no masculine. And no
Yeah.
amount of shaming, no amount of telling them to man up is going to do it. Be there, be an example, help them up, tell them what to do. Reach your hand out. We don't have to be criticizing them all the time. We're teachers. Men are teachers. We're leaders. Lead. Leading is not telling them just, oh, go man up. How do they do that? Leader. How do I get there, leader? So we have to take the time out. I don't care how old they are. Some they need help. Men ain't killing themselves out here because they talk. They killing themselves because they don't have no support. They don't have no help. They can't talk to nobody. Because even with therapy, sometimes you still need people surrounding you. So we need to just grow up. Like I said, there's other issues plaguing us besides relationships. Way, and even within that, we need to expand the relationship talks because there's even more deeper things. I don't, you know, so we have to expand the conversation. I'm gonna put a plug out there, for those of you, whether it don't matter if you black, white, uh, Latino, it don't matter. Uh, I know he focuses on black men, but at the end of the day, he still talks about men's issues, and it's Dr. Hassan Johnson. And I'll say it one more time slow. Dr. T. Hassan, Hasan Johnson. And that's all I wanted to say. Thanks.
No, thank you very much, MK, for your insight. And yeah, absolutely, absolutely, I agree with everything that both MK and Jose had to say. And like I said, guys, the my final thoughts are the notion of someone somewhere should do this in order for me to benefit from it. It's killing your existence. You are responsible for the change you want to see. You need to support, man. You need to start something. I don't care what you do, but you need to be the solution to the problem. You can't be just sitting around wishing that someone somewhere does something for your benefit. Because when the day comes where all these people win over, for example, let's say like MK mentioned previously, Amber Heard, after all this, the disgusting stuff that we have heard, wins this case, what comes after, it's going to affect you as well. So I don't think, in my opinion, that you as a guy can afford that someone somewhere should do something in my benefit type of mentality, because that's what's coming your way. It's coming after your money, it's coming after your manhood, it's coming after your family, your legacy, and your dignity. That's basically what's going on. And I see that Radical came in late, but he's here. What's up, Radical Latino?
Yo, what's going on?
Nothing much, nothing much. How about you?
Pretty good. Glad to see that you're doing live streams and stuff like that. You're in good standings.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Have you been listening to the stream?
To be completely honest, no. I just got in. I saw that you were talking about. I think was it the Me Too movement. So
I'm talking about men too.
oh, then I'm
Men
leaving.
too.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
I'm playing. No, no.
We were just closing about this whole men too, and how subtle society, including other men,
Okay.
want to touch on the subject of males abuse, and we talk about the infamous example of Will and Jada. We talk about Johnny Depp's case. We talk about Kim Kardashian, Kanye West,
Yeah.
and now we're talking about the
How crazy?
divested seller group.
Yeah. How crazy is that whole Johnny Depp thing? That's insane.
Yeah. And we're just it's something that MK even said. Like, imagine if Amber Heard wins just like she won, like the case, Johnny lost is like he lost in the UK. And then the UK is the same country that wanted to quarantine men after 6 p.m. because one woman came up missing.
Yeah.
So what's the future for manhood if even Johnny Depp cannot get freaking justice in America?
Yeah. Yeah.
What
That's
hopes do
insane.
regular men have?
That's insane. I'm a regular man. That's crazy. I'm
Yeah,
scared.
that's just insane. Just imagine, anything can be done to you. Like, after everything with her, throwing cans at him, punching him in the face, slapping him in public,
Cutting his
defecate,
finger.
yeah, defecating in on his bed.
Yeah, I found that kind of hot. I was like, oh, what?
Oh my
What?
God, radical.
She
That's
took
disgusting.
she took his shit in the bed. What?
That's just disgusting.
Say that.
That's
Say that
just.
one more time. Say that one more time, but say it slow. No, let me
Oh,
stop.
I see that. I have Rakim over here, so I brought MK that hasn't been out yet. But Rakim, what's up?
What's up? What's up? Shout out to my YouTube sis Denise. Shout out to Rad. Shout out to MK. I didn't get a chance to join
Yo.
earlier. I know you're about to end the stream. Just wanted to come and speak for a minute, give you a shout out, and lend my support.
Yeah, of course, of course. And
Dude,
do
you
you
might
have?
go extend it for like another 30 minutes.
I'll give you times to discuss this. Like, I want to hear your perspective because it's something I was saying earlier. Like, where, and I want you guys to respond individually. Where do men go after all the podcasts, after all the accusations, the formation of Me Too, after the red pill movement have started and the manosphere is already world spread? What is the next step for men in order for you guys to push for proper legislation? Because I find it funny that Johnny Depp, a man such as powerful as Johnny Depp, endure all of that, and still law enforcement is not considering this basis for pressing charges. So what he needed to experience, death? What is the next step for men when men are going to form a group? We are ready to support y'all. So what is the next step that men are going to take?
Me personally, I think that first of all, one, there's a lot of men are pretty much scared of the status quo. Really scared about being called a misogynist, scared about being canceled and Me Too and stuff like that. So when groups of men come together and talk about their plight and talk about situations that can happen and are happening, we're considered and viewed as misogynistic and male privilege and all this other stuff. When in reality, the tables have turned to the point where women have a lot of rights nowadays. When I'm talking about first world, countries, a lot of rights nowadays, where a woman could literally just walk into a police station with a small bruise that she self-inflicted on herself, cries, because let's be honest, all women know how to cry by the age of 6.
Oh, wow.
Cry convincingly, and that man's whole life is already jeopardized.
Yeah, it's in the trash can. Yeah.
Exactly. So what men need to do is get away from this scariness and actually get some balls and say, well, I could care less what you guys think about me. We're going to actually try to see if we could try to, you know, try to push for something, because let's be honest, false police reports is a crime, but for some reason when women do it, it just gets left behind. I had a friend that his ex girlfriend, because he he dumped her. She went to the cops saying that he raped her. You know what
Oh,
I'm saying?
assaulted her.
Yeah,
Assaulted
yeah,
her.
yeah. Assault. I'm sorry, assaulted her. So he went, for like a whole year trying to fight his case. Ended up proving that he didn't do anything. And guess what happened to the woman? Nothing. And the lawyer even
Hmm.
told him, if you want to press charges, you're gonna have to just go through a civil suit.
What?
Exactly. So that right there, it shows that the law is not in our hands, and the feminist movement has been very instrumental and very good in getting women's rights, but it's gotten to the point where there's certain women, not all, but there's certain women who are taking advantage of these laws on the books that's there for them, and they're taking advantage, and they're the ones putting a bad sting on the whole, you know, word of feminism. You know, so
Yeah.
I think that we as men need to come together and stop pussyfooting around and actually doing something, because these politicians are not talking about these type of situations. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Especially not the Democrats. They're too scared to push back. I hope a Republican actually comes out and actually starts talking about the situations that's actually happening. You know?
Yeah, and that's basically what I was saying here, because that mentality that I'm seeing from guys, that they're, the matriarchy has scared you guys shitless, and to the point that most men I speak about these issues with always come with the argument, someone somewhere will start something or must start something to help me out, but nobody seems to want to be the leader. And it's like I said, you don't have to be the leader of millions, but you can start different things. Like, let's say, for example, like I said earlier during the stream, you talk to the people in your community that you see every day, your coworkers. Hey, we're gonna meet at this park and we're gonna start organizing, and then we're gonna spread the word to other friends that we have that are males, and then we're gonna start speaking about our issues and creating a plan to push for this specific demands, and we're gonna kidnap our vote until this happens, or we're going to do certain things until this happens. That's how you get the boat rolling, you know. And make no mistake, like MK, I think, I believe he said it, this problem is not just affecting one group, because till Johnny Depp became, his case became notorious, this is something that the divested group, the divested cult used to use this and say that it was only black men. Now, what's the excuse with Johnny Depp? Because now we're seeing that white dudes go through the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Latinos go through the same thing.
Exactly. Exactly. When you have a certain group pushing the envelope on saying it just happens to us, when in reality you see the broader picture. No, it's not just happening to us. You know what? Only one group. It's happening to everybody. For example, if you hear certain pro-blacks talking about the homosexual agenda is only targeting black boys, uh, no, it's targeting. If you really want to go into this whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
you have conservatives even talking about it's targeting white boys as well. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So
Yep.
it's not just a isolated thing. No, it's a broad thing. So it really depends on who you're getting the information from. But if you really want to really dive deep and dissect certain things, you'll start seeing the inconsistencies on certain people's arguments, where you're like, wait a minute, no, it's not just one thing. Calm down. It's much broader than that.
Yep. Yep. And that is the problem that we have, with today's society. It's just it's so crazy. It's so crazy what we're seeing right now with, how even, how do we even, because even if we go even deeper, this before the Johnny Depp situation, in the timeline of this whole abuse that's been festering, uh, divested ladies used to use that to abuse black men. So it's women that's pushing this agenda
Yeah.
to try to blame the abuse on the man. You see how crazy that is?
Yeah, you gotta understand. In when there's ever when there's certain groups, there's always going to be an extreme part of a group. For example, you know, for Republicans, people that's on the right, there's going to be an extreme version called white supremacists. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Though,
Yep.
but on the left, you're going to have the same thing, the extreme version of the left, which is called Antifa. You know, so you're going to have the extreme versions of either part. So for the manosphere, you're going to have the extreme version of the manosphere. If you know, even say Tommy Sotomayor or whatever he says, these are the extreme versions who are actually, but outside of their hurtful words, they are putting physical and physicalities actions on top of those words that they're spewing. You know what I'm saying? So this is what's happening, right? So when you have these extreme versions, you're gonna have the extreme version of the females called, you know, the divestors. I've seen some divestors who are very, very, very light, you know, in their message to the most extreme part where calling black men bullet bags or whatever the case is.
Yeah,
you know,
I was just you know,
I've only
I
seen
told,
the extreme.
yeah,
Yeah,
it look, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna
it's a
play it one
little
more time
wait
for
real
the
quick.
people that came later.
It's a little weird because like I said, I had this conversation with a divestor on Twitter, and she basically was saying that I'm blackwashed or whatever the case is, and said that I don't know what it is because I'm not part of the black community. And I said, okay, what community outside of the black community are you going to be better off in? So she dead told me the Latin community, the Asian community, and the white community. So I gave her stats on femicide in the Latin community. And I'm like, you're talking about you being safe. It seems like our own women aren't even safe in our community. So what are you talking about? You know what I mean? So I I understand that these type of people take certain situations and blow them up to say that this is what all black men are doing. Also, in the whole, you know, certain extreme parts of the whole manosphere, they do the same thing with black women. They take certain situations of certain black women and blow them up and say, well, these are all black women. And then they start putting extras on it. Like, these is what these raggedy black bitches are going, you know what I'm saying? So
But
this is what they do. But it's not,
Yep.
both parties, both sides are just putting extras on stuff that is not really that serious.
But
You know?
radical, I've never seen. Look at. I'm just gonna play this real quick. I'm sorry, Rakim. I'm gonna play. I've never seen this. Not even on Tommy Sotomayor. Look at this.
No one thought to say and voice their opinion that when I look at these white men, they are the epitome of masculine, and watching some of these police officers manhandle these black men in the street is very attractive, and it's a turn on, you know? And I'm wondering, does anybody else feel like that?
Hold on.
Yes, Lord.
Y'all off the chain, okay?
You know, have you ever heard that type of talk somewhere else?
I heard in Tommy's thing talking about black women or black folk people, but it's yeah, it's off the. It's crazy. Go ahead, Rocket.
No, one thing I was just gonna say, I think one of the reasons that you hear a lot of pro-black people talk about is going on in the black community, because usually with the black community, the black community is a petri dish for problems that once they've already affected the black community, they leak into other communities down the line. But like for instance, what you were saying earlier, Denise, about, you know, it's happening in the white community. It's just like, it's no different from drugs and crack cocaine and different things like that. When it was affecting the black community in the 80s and the 90s, like a lot of whites did not really care as long as it stayed in the inner city ghettos, until it started pouring into their communities with the opioid epidemic and various things like that. It's usually like that. It's a pattern with a lot of issues. A lot of black men have been going through this for since the 80s. Um, that's when you get women like Sharzad Ali and different people like that who made these different books, because she saw the aggressive feminism that was going on and how things was being put in a role reversal within the community. Because once a lot of these women had gained opportunities of power, they became very discriminate towards the men. Like, for instance, what you were hearing, Rad, like what that woman was saying, is another example of black men being used as cannon fodder to be able to hide some of these women just outright self-hatred or feeling like they may be alleviated by being with another race. And it's so bad that it's even taught in universities, where it's saying that black men still have some type of privilege over black women, even though black men are a group that has been dealt a pretty bad hand. And
Dude,
with a lot
that
of these
that
women,
that that
it's a
messes
belief
me up.
system.
That messes me up because I remember I spoke to this strong feminist, and she dead looked me in my face and said, "Black men have privilege over black women." And I said, "Okay, point to me where black men have privilege, the same privilege over you." And when she told me like jobs, I said, and all I kept on saying is white supremacy. So
Yeah,
I
that's a
kept
lie, because it's
I kept on hitting her back with white supremacy because I'm like, you cannot believe in white supremacy, but also believe that there's black male privilege. Those two cannot coexist.
yeah, it's like a lot of these women have been indoctrinated between these universities, between television, and stuff that's just been passed down from generation to generation. A lot of these women have been indoctrinated into believing a lot of these fallacies that they project on social media, just saying like black men never defended us or black men never protect us. There's been countless black men that did die protecting black women. We wouldn't even be here if black men never protected black women. There wouldn't have been no civil rights movement. Who was the ones that was putting in the work on who's the one that was putting in the work out there? Like so the delusion is sickening. But usually, like, what's going on right now is like, it's just, this has been going on for decades within the black community, but it's now starting to make its rounds around everywhere else. I think, like what we was talking about earlier, because I got a little sidetracked. It's about time for men to be ruthless. It really is, because it's starting to get out of control and it's starting to get out of hand. And just like you said earlier, Denise, it's only so long before men are going to be pushed before they're going to react in a more ruthless manner, because the things that we're dealing with some of these women are just outright evil. It's
Yep.
outright evil, and it's no sugarcoating it. It's no, well, women are going through emotional problem. Nah, it's outright evil, and it's about time it needs to be dealt with. And I would definitely be down for a movement. I don't know where the movement would start or how I would start it or anything like that, but it's about time for men to go ruthlessly after the court systems. Pay politicians to be able to further our agenda, to be able to combat this, because what you're dealing with is a lot of misogynoir, to the point that it's just corrupt. It's about power. You even have feminists that have teamed up with the alphabet community, to combat masculinity. They don't want it. They're like, they because you got to think, in a world where families have to exist, it's no place for that. You get what I'm saying? Like, you
Yep.
have to have families where you're being where wealth is being passed down, where legacies is being built. It's no place for that. And they know that. And you have a lot of women who foolishly, they're so busy trying to get away from men that they don't
Preach,
even realize that they're hurting their own
preach,
agenda by
preach, King,
joining up. Because
preach,
now you
preach,
see,
King, preach.
Yo, you wow, right? No, but now you see, like you see the statements where you was hearing from trans women saying black women don't deserve their wombs. They need to give us the wombs.
Teach
And
these
hey,
devils. Teach these
that's
devils.
they like in my personal opinion, hey, like for a lot of women, if y'all dealing with that, if y'all dealing with issues where you got people that want to pretend to be trans and just to get into sports where they can dominate over women and everything, hey, that's y'all ushered that in there.
Now
Men ain't
wait,
usher
wait,
that
wait,
in
wait,
there.
wait, wait. Hold on. You know what we should do? That serious? You know what we should do? We should just accept it. Just hear me out. Just hear me out. Let's just accept it. Let us just go like, okay, cool. You guys want to do that? You guys want to do that? Okay, today I feel like a woman and shit today. Just accept it. Let's see how far we can try to get it until they go like, oh shit, they're really taking our talking points. Maybe this is stupid. You know what I mean? Because it
Yeah.
gets to a point where someone would look and be like, yeah, you don't have ovaries. Stop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I understand that, respecting people's identity, I get that, but it gets to a point where it's just ridiculous. It really does.
No, and not only that, look, I joke around a lot with the concept of what I would do if I was a man. But before I talk about that, I don't know if you guys heard, like I think like a few days ago,
And
There was like a New Jersey trans woman that was in prison and got two female inmates pregnant at the
I
same
heard
time. You
about
guys
that.
saw that?
I heard about that. Yep, I've heard
You,
about that.
you see what I'm saying? Like imagine if you get caught and you're like, a full-blown man and you say, I feel like a woman, I'm a trans woman. You can go in there and just have sex and enjoy your life around women. And then going back to what I'm saying, I often tell MK, what I would do if I was a man. And I always tell him, if I was a man, I will organize a group that will tell men, let's save the whole 2023. We're going to save money for a whole year survival. And during 2024, we're not coming out. We're not going to build anything. We're not going to fix shit. We're not going to do nothing until we get the stuff that we want to do. We're not going to do anything whatsoever. Women want the world, they can have it. Let them have it and let them run it. And you don't do anything. You stay in your house, scratching your belly, watching television and playing video games. And you pay for your bills and you're okay. That's what I would do until the country hears you out.
And I just wanted to say something really quick regarding what Rad said earlier about, like, with the manosphere and the divestors. One thing I would say really quick, Rad, not to get off topic, I just wanted to say, because I had been around from the beginning, like when a lot of that stuff had popped off. I'm talking about like in '08, '09. And one thing I would say, my personal opinion, the manosphere is definitely in defense of a lot of what's been going on for quite some time, and not supporting Tommy Sotomayor. I don't support Tommy Sotomayor, but from what I've seen with Tommy versus a lot of the divestors and different things like that, the man was mild compared to some of the stuff that they say. I'm sorry, based off of from what I've seen, like hair-headed hooligans or different things like that. Okay, that may hurt a little bit feelings, but when you start talking about you want people dead and we need to erase the whole existence of men
Yeah,
and
abort
we
but
gotta abort them, and
babies. Yeah.
you even show men lynched. Like what type of like you? That's sick, man. That's just outright sick evil.
Not
Just
only
outright
that,
sick evil.
Rakim, I don't know if you caught the part of the stream when I was saying that this lady, from what I have researched about her, she's in the medical field in Florida. She holds a medical license.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
imagine that you have a black boy and it's your kid and you bring it to the medical institution she works at. Would you put your kids or even your life as a black man into the hands of this lady that has so much contempt for black men? Why
Right,
we're giving
because
a medical license to a lady like this?
right. And the crazy thing is, the scary part about that is that they blend in. They got the same uniform as you got.
Mm-hmm.
So they blend in, and you don't know that these people are just sick in their mind. Like, it happens whether you're talking about doctors, whether you're talking about people that are nurses, caretakers, people that work in the court systems, different things like that. I've heard cases of, these women, maybe they might not have been divestors, but they had a similar type of mentality where they were involved in people's cases, especially black men's, and they got thrown to the wolves in the court system.
Yeah.
No different from a Confederate judge that got, um, all types of, Confederate flags on his wall in the basement of his home.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's
so
the
it's
best
that, yeah.
depiction. That's the best
Yeah.
depiction. Yeah,
So
it's
it's
the
it's,
best
it's
depiction.
that it's that bad, and a lot of these women, you can tell that they sick because they project. Like, you've heard women say things that, oh, black men want to get a white woman so they can elevate to white status, which is the most stupidest thing I've ever heard. Because if you ever converse with a lot of black men that are in corporate America, white men hate that shit.
Yeah.
You think a white man that's he's gonna go, hey Jamal, hey Keyshawn, good job, buddy. You're part of the team now. We're gonna elevate you to a higher standard. A lot of it is projection, man, because I've heard guys that've dated interracially where they haven't even brought their girlfriends up to their jobs because they know what type of bullshit is going to come behind that. People are going to try to get them fired. They're going to try to get them. It's outright projection because they know that's what they want. So,
Yeah.
like, you have a lot of people that has a lot of self hate, and they try to hide and use black men as cannified for it. So, and you can tell by a lot of the sick comments that they make.
Yeah,
So that's
absolutely.
all I wanted to say with that. I'm sorry for reading off subject there.
Yeah, absolutely. But guys, I'm gonna start wrapping this up. Like I said, I already got the final thoughts from both MK and Jose. So
No,
I'm
no,
gonna.
no. I'm staying on. Fuck all that.
Well, okay. If I before I just want to say one thing.
Go ahead, Jose.
Many of us in professions, we have a thing called a code of conduct, whether it be you in social services or in the medical fields or what have you. My question is for medical personnel to do this side of stuff. Isn't it against their code of conduct, and maybe we can inform the correct authorities to have these people discredited, because if you have like a doctor or a nurse espousing those type of philosophies and whatnot, there are a risk for public health. That's just something I just
Absolutely.
want. I just want to. Okay, and I apologize for popping back in. It does
No, it's
that.
okay. But interesting what you're bringing up. But my thing is, uh, you will have to notify the FBI. Men will have to notify the FBI, because if you go to that uh, platform, it's disgusting. The message over there is beyond harassment and beyond cyber stalking. That the message on that um, cult, because I refuse to call it a platform or a channel. It's basically terrorism. Open
Okay.
fire against Americans, and it should be notified to the federal authorities that control through the FCC what's being put out there, and she should be investigated. I want to encourage you, if not only you but any man that's listening to this, go to that platform, report it, call your local FBI office, have it reported. Don't be scared. The more it gets reported, the more that lady will get investigated and see what has happened in her real life, and how many people. You'll be surprised if she has affected the lives negatively, the lives of black kids, black boys, black men in her field. We don't know that. We don't know that. What
Mhm.
we know for what we have collected is that she doesn't want to show her actual face while saying these disgusting, violent things and encouraging other people to be violent. well, showing her face because she probably has something to lose. And
Mhm.
if you didn't have something to lose, you would show who you are eventually. I get it, for some time you might not want to, but when you are the same person here that you are over there, then you have nothing to lose. And that's all I'm gonna say.
Right.
So
I just wanted to say facts,
Denise.
because when you ain't got nothing to lose, you turn on your camera like Kim 1 2 3.
exactly. But I'm gonna
Uh,
move. Go ahead, Jose.
okay, Denise. Do I have your permission on my channel to encourage the common folk to watch the playback on the stream?
Absolutely. Share this with your male
Because I
friends.
don't want to get hit with a copyright strike.
No. Go ahead. You can share all you want. This, I always say that, but this type of show, you can use. This show specifically, anyone can use it. So definitely share with your male friends, with your cousins, with your uncles, with your primitos, with your coworkers. Share it out and
Definitely.
start spreading the word. This is something that, and we should, I think every man should be watching what Johnny Depp is going through because it could happen to you. If it happened to Johnny Depp that has $128 million in the bank, it definitely can happen to you. So, guys, I'm going to remove Jose and MK from the studio. I already heard their
No. You did. Nah, I'm playing. Go ahead.
their final thoughts. Rakim and Radical, you have 3 to 5 minutes to like gather your final thoughts on hashtag men too.
Um, fellas, what we need to do is come together collectively with our brain power and figure out how to make these sex robots possible, because I think that's the only way we'll be able to survive. What beautiful way will it be in life to have a woman that you can control and she won't complain? No,
Oh my god.
no. But I think it's gonna get to the point where what I just said as a comedic take, it's gonna get to the point where that's gonna become a reality. Um, the the Oculus, the Oculus is coming out. Meta, the metaverse is happening. It's not gonna be that far where there's gonna be virtual girlfriends, and they're gonna literally fulfill everything a man is gonna want or need. So, if women are choosing to be this toxic, I I know for a fact that men have the ability to vote with their feet, and they will vote with their feet, meaning they will leave. It's much easier for a man to do logical drastic changes in order for self sufficient happiness. You know what I'm saying? So I believe the next logical step is going to be either robots or in the metaverse. Having a whole full relationship in the metaverse.
Oh
That's
my
that's my
god.
that's my theory. I swear to God, that's my theory.
Oh my, are you being that serious?
I'm dead serious. I think that's my theory. Yes.
Jesus Christ, you're insane. I'm gonna.
But you don't see it. But you don't see it. You don't see it.
I don't see it. I don't see it. What I see is that because that to me that would be like
That's so extreme.
no, that would be like hiding, and I don't think
Mm.
men should hide. I think you guys should fight this.
What?
You
What?
should not be
Okay.
pushed into hiding.
Just think about it. Just think about a world where the more fight, the more pushback we get, and then there's like, okay, there's no reason to fight anymore. Let's just do an alternative, and that alternative would be artificial.
but it can be because I don't know if you've been watching some of my streams. I did a WTF news where a woman already filed a complaint that she was groped in the metaverse.
Yeah, of course, but I'm talking about not a not a a real artificial woman that's on the other side of the world. I'm talking about a computer generated person. That's what I'm talking about. So
I honestly, because how would you reproduce?
well, that's something that science needs to figure out.
Oh my God. You see
That's
my point?
no, I
We're
get
not
it,
there
but
yet. We're not there
that's
yet.
something science is gonna figure out. The same way how these divestors says we can reproduce without men. Well, guess what? We could probably do the same. There's
Yeah,
artificial
yeah.
wombs, so let's get it going. That's my 3 minutes.
Okay, no problem, Rad. Thank you very much for tuning in. Now, Rakim, but before I let Rakim go in his point, I want to remind you guys that there's 10 people out here at this time. So I need people to hit that like button. And also, if you have enjoyed this content, if you like this platform, make sure that you support it either by liking and subscribing, or if you want to make a contribution to growing the platform, make sure that you also send your catch ups my way. Thank you very much, guys. Now I'm gonna let you with Rakim and his final thoughts. So, Rakim, what is your final statement regarding hashtag men too?
Well, first and foremost, I got to shout out to you, Denise, and shout out to your platform, Latin Explaining, and allow me to be a guest on your platform. My take is that we got to fight, man. We got to fight. We need to be just as ruthless as we are with each other. How men have that ruthlessness when it comes to dealing with other men, not like in a physical way, but whether it be court systems, don't fall for the tears. Just you're gonna have to get ill with it. You're gonna have, because like what we're dealing with is we're gonna have to fight. There's no other option because what we fail to understand is that a lot of women are going against female nature. So even the more power and influence they get, the more that they're not happy still. And a lot of these women are going to find ways to still blame men for their unhappiness. So we're in a position where we're going to have to fight. Because with some of these women, boy, I tell you, like, you can get away by going to hell and they'll follow you to hell and climb over brimstone to find where you are just to complain. So like
I got to hell.
it's to the point where you'd be like, damn, man, I'm down here with Lucifer to get away from y'all. Y'all, you still coming. You done swim through a lake of fire, huh? But yeah, it's like, a lot of women, they say that they're happy and they say that that's why you have so many women calling into Kevin's show. It's like, and a lot of these women, they want the truth, but at the same time, if the truth goes against what they feel, if the truth goes against what they believe, then that's still a problem. Because
Yeah.
what a lot of women want to do is not all women, of course. We got a lot of good ladies out there. I'm not saying, I don't mean to say it in a way where I mean like all women, and I don't have vitriol towards women or anything like that. It's just this one particular type of women, whether it be the divestors, the feminists, these different women like that. I'm not
The Amber
here.
Heards.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not here to bash women that may have certain gripes with men that are legitimate, uh, that are legitimate gripes. We're talking about these women who manipulate other women, who mislead other women for their own personal financial gain, which we have seen a lot of here on YouTube. And a lot of women are getting caught up in these situations, and that should be proof enough, ladies, that a lot of these women don't care about other women. A lot of these women, when they make false accusations on, assault and different things like that, they're not thinking about the next woman that's actually been assaulted, and it may look like she's crying wolf due to the last 5 or 6 false accusations that women filed to get some type of personal gain out of this situation. So it's you all got to understand where I'm coming from. But yeah, it's about time for men. We're gonna have to, because eventually we're gonna be forced to fight sooner or later. You can hide if you want to, but eventually it's gonna come around a corner where, you like you said earlier in your stream, like that aggressive nature is going to be released because men are holding in so much frustration. They're getting tired of being bullied. We get bullied by the LGBT community. We get bullied by feminism. Like me being a brother on here, the bulliness from the divestors. They're like, this past bullying. They really want you gone. But different things like that, and it's getting tiring. It's getting tiring. So how long is it going to be before you try to, take that back road, after school and to get to the back door of your house before you just decide that, you know what, you're going to walk down that block where the bully's at and you're going to drop your book bag and you're going to pull your pants up and you're going to be ready to get out how you live. So
Absolutely.
that's my last thoughts that I have to say, Denise, and thank you once again.
No problem. Thank you, Rakim. And definitely, guys, you guys already heard my final thoughts. I appreciate every single one of you for tuning in, guys. I'm also I want to thank everybody, every Latin explainer out there. Either through Spotify, like I said, MK does all the uploading of Spotify and whatnot, but I know that over there, I want to say hi to everybody that's listening from Ireland, Australia, New Zealand. I felt a lot of love. Thank you for allowing me into your spaces and into your homes with the information that I bring. And I hope you keep liking my perspective. And if you want to hop in at any time, just come over to YouTube. And if I'm in the same time zone as you at one point, then I want to hear from you also. So thank you very much, guys. Today marks a year of Latin explaining. So I want to thank every single one of my Latin explainers. We are 265 strong today. I know we started with 12. So I am very grateful for every single one of you. And I hope that our community grows a little bit further the more I am present here with you guys. So thank you very much for tuning in, guys. If you like this video, if you like the topic, don't let it die here. Make sure that you let your friends know, that you spread the message. Share this video with people that you care about, with other males that you think, you guys should form like a small brotherhood and get the ball rolling. Because like I said, whatever is happening right now to Johnny Depp is just like a very small experiment that's coming near a city near you. So with that being said, thank you, guys. It has been a pleasure. This has been another episode of Latin Explaining with Denise. I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.